Okay, so we are in Module 1, Principles of Sound and Audio Engineering, which is a really fun unit. We're going to look at some of the basics of sound, more like the science of it, and see how those things apply to a lot of the professional use and application of these kinds of things. So, sound engineers who are working with music or TV or movies, a lot of these different sound-based professions, how these things apply a little bit. And so we'll get into that. And right now, this first video, brief video, is just about sound waves. So the first question is, what is sound? There's this wordy explanation that says the sensation produced by the stimulation of the organs of hearing by vibrations transmitted through the air or other medium. So that may sound kind of confusing, but what it really means is simply it's a sensation produced by a stimulation of your ears, and you can get into all the details of what's going on in your ears, but really, the organs of hearing that we have that are caused by vibrations that generally are transmitted through the air, although it could be through other mediums. And so to explain that more, you'll see the next part here says different disturbances create different patterns of vibrations or different sounds. So um, one sound wave is going to be different than another, and each one of these disturbances creates a different pattern of vibration which cause a different sound. So a bass drum, the sound wave or pattern of vibration that that would create would be a lot different than, say, a bell chiming or a human voice or an airplane, and on and on and on. They're all unique. And the last thing here is these patterns of disturbances are known as sound waves. They travel as sound waves. Okay, so it's important to look at the life of a sound. So what happens from the very beginning to the point that it's actually heard? So the first part here is production, and that's where an impact creates a vibration. So we'll just create a simple analogy. We'll use a drum. We'll say if someone hits a snare drum, they have a drumstick and it hits the snare drum head. That moment where the drumstick hits the snare drum head, that's the production. That's where the impact creates a vibration, and then it moves on to this next step here, propagation. That's where this vibration creates a disturbance or fluctuation in air pressure, and those fluctuations generate sound waves. So literally the air is moving, and that change is going to generate a specific kind of sound wave that we would know in this case as the sound of a snare drum. And then perception is the point in which the sound wave reaches the human ear, and those changes in air pressure are interpreted as sound. So if you're standing in the same room as someone playing a drum, perception is that exact moment when that sound wave makes it all the way to your ear, and you can interpret that as what it is. So there's some visual examples here to see what we're talking about. So right here you can kind of see what I'm talking about as far as, this may represent the wave that a snare drum makes. And it's at that point that it stimulates the organs of hearing that you can perceive it. And sound waves aren't unlike other waves that you're familiar with, as it says here, such as a ripple effect in water. With sound, a wave is produced from a specific point, and again, you won't hear it until one of those waves reaches your ears. So that's just a basic introduction to sound waves. We're going to get into frequency and amplitude and loudness and phase and some other fun things here in a second. But that should do it for now. I have some other resources available if you want to look into it more, and that ought to do it.